Hello there, YouTube. It's been a weird few days. So, since my last video, I've been inundated on various social medias with stories of two-tier policing and people being arrested for very simple protests. The amount of people being arrested for malicious communications or inciting racial hatred, which just means not being in support of an invasion of illegal immigration, which is what it is, has got ridiculous now. The whole flag protest, raise the colours, is spreading like wildfire. It's everywhere now. Even in places like the Northwest, which are heavy Labour voting, there's flags in every street. It's changed the way that people talk about national pride. And Keir Starmer doesn't know what to do about this. He is completely stuck. Like, I don't know what his response is going to be, but this is going to continuously heat up until something is done to relieve the pressure. The people in Epping lost their court case, apparently, when the government stooge of a judge decided that the rights of foreigners supersede the rights of British people in Britain. So now the people of Epping have said that they're not going to pay any taxes. You can't arrest them all. I mean, they arrested anyone who spoke or anyone who carried a placard. Like, literally, there's been people arrested just because they said, they carried a placard saying, no to asylum hotels or something like that. A standard political opinion, a mainstream political opinion, that's inciting racial hatred, apparently. So many people have been arrested for seemingly nothing. Malicious communications is getting people arrested for just posting a tweet. Facebook posts are getting people arrested. It won't be long before YouTube videos go the same way. I genuinely don't know how far this is going to go, but we're reaching the point where authoritarian policing is... It's going so far in Britain that now, even if it's only a small number of people, it's enough that it is legitimately frightening the populace. But it's not making them back down. I don't think the scare tactic is going to work anymore. I don't think you can put this genie back in the bottle. It worked at first. They'd arrest one or two people, and then other people would keep their head down and just let everything go. No, people are continuously protesting. When elderly women, like 70-year-old women, are marching through the streets with a St. George cross and then get pepper sprayed by police. This happened, by the way. This actually happened. You can only presume that the police realise that they're now a fascist police state. They must realise that that's what they are. If you're pepper spraying little old ladies because they're flying their own nation's flag in their own country and saying that they don't want foreigners to come here and take all of our taxes so they can live in that 4-star hotel and pay no bills. Because that's what's happening. If that's the position that the police are taking, you have to wonder how long it's going to take before the police themselves are going to say, you know what, I'm not enforcing these laws anymore. Because there are plenty of good police officers in Britain. They're not all fascist dictators that follow, Heil Starmer. They're not all that kind of people. A substantial number of them are. But there's good people within the police. British police are actually generally very good. They're very fair, and they're very calm. We don't get like the power-hungry, power-mad police very often, which is why it's interesting if you look at the different the different protests and things like that, it's generally not white British police officers that are enforcing these rules, which makes me wonder if they're not, taking people from minority and migrant backgrounds and fast tracking them through the police in order to enforce these laws, because it definitely looks like it. But maybe I'm just reading too much into it. People that you wouldn't expect are now starting to, fly the British flag and, fly the England flag and show their displeasure. And it's about time. It's about time that we stopped putting up with the government lying to us. And it's not even necessarily the migrant issue that's the problem. It's the government lies. If the government said, we're going to let all these migrants in, we're going to build these hotels, we're going to let them in because it's our responsibility to look after all these people, that's what we believe, and then they got voted in, then that would be fine. But the Labour government, as well as the Conservative government before them, both said that they were going to reduce immigration. They both said they were going to reduce it, they were going to stop allowing illegal immigration, that boat migrants would stop coming over, that they would fix the issue. And both governments then did the opposite and increased immigration, increased illegal immigration. They allowed more people to smuggle themselves across the channel. And then they housed them all and gave them free shit. That's the opposite of what they said they were going to do. It's why I seriously hope Reform are not going to do the same thing. Because Reform are almost certain to win the next election if things go the way it is. The way it's going now. There's multiple years before the next election, so who knows. But if Reform say they're going to solve this problem, then they don't do it either. I genuinely believe that Britain will descend into civil war. I genuinely believe it'll go into full-blown anarchy, people fighting in the streets. Because if after 15 years of lying about this issue, a new government is elected and they continue to lie, the British people are just going to lose their rag. They're just going to go crazy. I mean, I don't see any of this firsthand. I don't leave the house. I'm a disabled man who can barely walk, so I'm not going to any marches. I'm not protesting anything. This isn't my life. All I'm doing is watching news reports. And occasionally sticking my head out the front door and seeing, oh, look, there's a couple of flags flying. That's about as far as I can get. So for me, like, my day-to-day life doesn't seem all that different, but if the media is to be believed, both mainstream and independent media, Britain is in a much worse state than people realise. Makes you wonder. I don't know where this is going to go next. So, we'll see, I suppose. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.